Good morning, fifth grade. It's Miss Fisher here. Today is AMI day 4. It is Wednesday, March 18th, 2020. I got the date wrong in my other video. So, surprised no one corrected me on that. All right, so I'm going to go through our Common Lit article for the day. So if you want to pull that up, and you can be reading along with me so that you can check your answers, see how you did. Like I said, I've been trying to go as quick as I can with the grading. I think I'm up to date now on grading, and all of those scores should be released to you. So, and remember that these are more complicated, difficult text, okay? So I wanted to work our brains a little bit over the break, and that is why. But let's start with shout outs. So I will shout out Ishan. He got a 100% again on this article. So good job, Ishan. As of now, that's all I have. But I'll make sure to put you in the comments if you get an 80 or above. Okay, so our article was titled When Stars Explode. It was by the same author that wrote the last article that we read. Okay, so Ken Croswell. So in this informational text, Ken Croswell discusses why stars explode and what happens when they do. So as you read, take notes on how star explosions impact the rest of the universe. Okay, interesting stuff right there. I'm not going to read it aloud this time. If you want to listen to it, of course, there's always that read aloud option, but I am going to go through the questions. So I'm on the assessment. Let me go back to this. Okay, so we'll start with number 1. Again, this was an article that required you to identify 2 statements. So make sure that you're always paying attention to the directions. You're reading the directions all the way through so that you know what is expected of you. Okay, so part A here, 80% of us earned credit on this one. So very good job. Part A says, which 2 statements identify the central ideas of the text? So like I said in yesterday's video, we are looking at main idea and key details. Just know that main idea and central idea, they are the same thing. Okay, so main and central, they're 2 different terms, but they both mean the idea. What is the whole text about? What information did they give you in the text? So just keep that in mind, that those are the same. Some of us are so used to looking for main idea that when we see something like what is the central idea, we get a little bit confused because we're like, maybe it is the main idea, but central doesn't really fit. So just know that main idea and central idea, those are the same thing, mean the same. Okay. So, let's go through our options. A says supernovae, and that's how I'm going to pronounce it. It means more than one supernova. Supernovae are violent events in space, but essential for life to succeed. Okay, so we did see here where it talked about it is a violent event. I mean, it's a huge explosion, so I would explain that as explosion. So that one looks, supernovae. Okay. And then if you go further down, it says that we do need these violent explosions in order for life to succeed. So A possibly could be an option. B, supernovae destroy life as much as they create it with their explosions. Probably not the main idea. Okay. C, eventually life on Earth will be ended by the explosion of the sun. We saw later on in our article that's not really what our article talked about. So C's not going to be our answer. D, every star eventually runs out of fuel and dies in a large supernova explosion. Okay, we saw that was not true. Okay, and remember, we're looking for what is the whole article talking to us about. E, Earth would benefit from a nearby supernova to provide it with additional elements. Not really something that we saw in our article. So we're left with F. When large stars run out of fuel and surrender to gravity, they explode in a supernova. If we go back, we could directly match that to the text. So I would say the best answers that work here are A and F. Okay, and now without even moving to part B, I can already assume that they're going to ask for that text evidence to back it up. So let's go to question 2. And it says, which 2 details from the text best support your answers to part A? So let's first look at statement A. So supernovae are violent events in space, but essential for life. So we need to find text evidence that connects to that. So I'm looking through. A, Antares is so big that if it were at the center of our solar system, it would swallow Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Earth. Doesn't really relate. Its center makes energy the same way the sun does by changing hydrogen, the lightest element. Doesn't say anything about life. Let's go to E. Listen as I read E. Believe it or not, supernovae help life. In fact, without them, the Earth would not exist, neither would we. I would say that best connects to what we said on part A, okay? So, good. Now we need to find text evidence for F. When large stars run out of fuel and surrender to gravity, they explode. And as I'm looking through the options, I would say C even contains the word gravity. C, this is good because the force of gravity pulls inward and tries to make the star collapse. But as long as the star can make energy, it can fight the force of gravity and survive. So I would say C and E are going to be those pieces of text evidence. Okay. Part A for our next question. Which statement best describes Antares in the text? So Antares is a made-up star that the author uses to discuss supernovas. Okay, well, we know that it's not made up. Okay, 0% of us answered that. Good. Okay, it looked like 50% of us answered B. So Antares is the last supernova that was observed in our galaxy. Let's see. I don't think there's anything that I see that can back that up. I would say when we look under when a star dies, the explosion is a supernova, the spectacular death of a star. The last time people saw a supernova in our galaxy was 1604. That was before astronomers were using telescopes. However, every year, astronomy sees supernovae exploding in other galaxies. So, some of us might have seen the last time people saw a supernova in our galaxy was 1604. Now it's saying every year astronomers see them exploding. So, B can't be our answer. Okay, C, Antares is a large star that will likely result in a supernova when it dies. Okay, that one fits. Or D, Antares is a star that died in a supernova that the author witnessed. D, not going to be our option. So I would say between B and C, C most or best describes Antares in the text. Just because right after that statement about it being the last one, we see that it's observed every year. Okay. But I see how the wording can be a little confusing there. Okay, now you need text evidence, I do believe. Which section from the text best supports the answer? Interesting. Best supports the answer to part A. I'm assuming people picked, if they answered B on the last time, then they picked C this time. Let me see if I'm correct. Okay. So the answer on number 4 is actually B. So most supernovae can't come from massive stars. Antares is a massive star. Okay, so C, that's why. Antares is a star. It's not a supernova yet. Okay, makes sense. All right, and the last short answer says, what is the relationship between supernovae and life on Earth? So students should discuss how supernovae result in the creation of elements that are necessary for life to thrive. So basically, the relationship between the supernovae and life on Earth is that there is no life on Earth without the explosion. Okay, so you had to have something along those lines for me to give you credit. Okay, so that's our article. So let me talk a little bit about how today is going to work. This video is obviously way shorter. So Wednesdays we usually dedicate to reading and writing. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to post a way for you to look at the prompt. I'm going to give you a writing prompt. It's going to be set up the same way we've seen all of our prompts this year. Persuasive writing. I want you to respond to the prompt, but I really want you to time yourself. Okay, so 45 minutes, I would say would be a good time. If you don't really have 45 minutes, maybe cut it down to 30. But 45 minutes, time yourself responding to the prompt. Remember, you are able to brainstorm if you would like. Just make sure that you're answering the prompt. And then I'm going to actually grade those. And then I'll see if I can come up with something to do with them on Friday. But that is going to be your assignment for today. Make sure that you are still logging those iReady lessons. At any point you want to log on to No Red Ink, that works too. Just make sure that you're still getting that learning in. And I hope that you have an awesome Wednesday. And we're halfway through the week, our first AMI week. And I will see you guys tomorrow.